out. Hello, everyone. Welcome to 10 Minutes Astrology. Once a week, me and Alejo will bring you something to help you to learn astrology. Hello, Alejo. How are you?
Hi, Rod. I'm great. How are you?
Um, well, could you see very obviously I'm pretty unwell.
I know. I'm worried
But it is very interesting.
because today we're talking about
Ta-da, Chiron.
Chiron, which has to do. Melanie Reinhardt says it's a wounding. It's some kind of wound, and it's how to heal the wound. And you're
Very
not feeling super
interesting.
well, so it's very interesting that we're going to talk about Chiron today.
Let me share one thing with everyone, with you and everyone, because we are planning a important event. So I wrote email to Melanie to invite her to be part of this event.
Ah,
And then what she say is, "Oh, Rod, how are you? This and that." And she's talking about her situation, and I tell her what happened to me. And she said, "Oh yeah, Rod, yes, you have Chiron return. Wow, I'll bear that in mind." I'm like, thank you for reminding me that Chiron return. And yes, since maybe something like 2 years ago, I already started to experience whole Chiron return thing. I think in the future, if we have chance to talk about planetary return, especially in Chiron return, I'm very happy to share my experience with everyone because that is a very important issue. But today we're going to examine in the natal chart how the planet aspect to Chiron, how we're going to interpret it, and what we can expect. Okay, so
mhm.
Alejo, do you want to
So
start with?
we said, remember, Chiron is this creature that is both human and animal, and it's a centaur, right? So it's a kind of centaur. It's a nice kind of centaur, um, because he wanted to befriend mortals. Now, centaurs are unique in mythology, and Chiron is unique among the centaurs because all of them come from a cloud, except for him. He's the only one that doesn't come from a cloud. He was given birth to. So there's something about Chiron that talks about being a little bit different, being a little bit, and the price that comes with being different, which is usually the price of loneliness. Maybe you have a possibility to be free, but also this implies that you are alone, you're unique. No one is like you. So there's a sense of to be free and to be different means to be alone in some ways. I think that's kind of one of the wounds that Chiron talks about. Wound is another one of the keywords for Chiron. Remember when we talked about it, we said there was this wedding where the centaurs interfered, and Chiron was kind of in the middle of the whole thing, and accidentally, because he wasn't on the side of the centaurs, but accidentally he was wounded by an arrow. He couldn't heal himself. He couldn't save himself from the pain. He couldn't die also because half of his blood is immortal, so he couldn't die. So he would be forever wounded until he exchanged mortality with some other character of mythology, and he finally could pass away, and he stopped his pain, right? So Chiron is also talking about this sense of wounding and the difficulty in healing that kind of wound, which I think has to do with this idea of being different, being eccentric, and the price to pay for this kind of freedom, this kind of being a trickster a little bit in some ways. So
Mm,
planets aspecting Chiron will probably feel that there's something unique, something that has been rejected, something that has been not
mm,
accepted about ourselves, that is entering into a dialogue with this other planet. It might be challenging this other planet, or it might be supporting this other planet. But anyway, it means that this other planet gets some of these characteristics. It's a friend, let's say. It's somebody who goes along with uh, a person who was a loner, who was alone, and who was a little bit different from his colleagues and his
environment.
environment. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, I love this part, and that is usually an essential part when I read chart from Chiron. It's not just the wound, or most people talking about healing. But don't forget, before heal, you have wounds, you have some pain, you have some cut. So it's not just like everything is always bright, nice, beautiful. You have to go through the dark or the pain to get the wound. And I like one sentence, and that is Chiron is a wisdom, but it's the wisdom from the wound. I think that is from
Yeah.
Howard Spotus, the wisdom from the wound. So it's a whole journey thing. Usually Chiron theme when we read is like a lifelong journey, and even usually it's beyond the personal. Usually it's very somehow could be family or whole society to relate it to that story. And that is what I amazing by Chiron, because his journey is not just for one person, and then his story is not one person involved. And sometimes it's like you would say, yeah, it's not my fault. Why me? Why I have to take on this?
Yeah.
And that is so Chiron. That is so Chiron. So today I prepared a chart about someone who is very interesting in today's society. To be honest, he is a interesting character. To be honest, for some people, he's kind of a hero, but for some people, he's kind of a dangerous person. I don't know how you see it, but let me share his chart and let's see. Here, I show you the chart of Julian Assange. Well, to
Nice.
be
Yes.
honest, yeah, to be honest, in the beginning, when I heard about the WikiLeaks, my Aquarius Sun, Aquarius Venus, that made me like, oh my God, that's my hero.
Yeah. So some people see him as a hero, some people see him as a traitor.
And dangerous person, most dangerous person. To be honest, I can understand those information or those secret, or especially those secret related to those spy in the different countries location who can know this information, and that is put them in danger. I know that, but in another part, that kind of a deep, very deep, complicated international geopolitical secret deal or those
Mm.
things are usually, very complicated. But today, let's see, because I think I like his chart. We can see in this chart, he has the Sun square Chiron and Uranus opposite
Mhm.
Chiron, and also Sun square Uranus. So there's a cardinal T square there. And I hope maybe we want to just focus on the Chiron's aspect first.
Okay, but I would say it's interesting to focus on both because
Okay.
with Chiron squaring the sun about his identity, I think there is this kind of trickster quality that you were talking about. Is he a hero
Mm,
or is he a dangerous person?
mm,
Is knowledge giving you the possibility to heal, or is it giving you the possibility to wound, which is a Chiron
mm,
theme also? So how does he identify with which side of the centaurs does he identify with? Also, there is perhaps the sense that he is alone, the sense that he knows something, he has something, he's seen something that nobody else has seen. So he feels perhaps somewhat alone, somewhat exposed. And what is the price to pay for
mm,
that information, for that freedom? Now, he's also Sun square Uranus. So I think here we have the sign of a rebellion, the
mm,
idea of um, trying to find a way to bring something new, something different, to fight the ones who are in a position of authority. And I think he's a sun in Cancer, so the sense of belonging must have been very important for him. So this position is a very threatening position. Both
mm,
Uranus and Chiron aspecting the sun makes me think of a kind of feeling of orphanage from
mm,
a father's side, I would say, because it's the son, maybe, but some kind of like a guiding principle that was not fully present. So I feel a bit different, I feel a bit isolated, I feel a bit abandoned, perhaps. And for a sun in Cancer, this must have been very, very hard. So I'm
Mm.
wondering, when he's exposing all of these materials, who is he really addressing to?
Let me tell you a story because when his story revealed, I really go to read all his things. As I remember, his father never stayed with them since childhood, and his mother want to run away from his father, so take him and his brother run away to another place, and then they finally his let me say that his mother never stayed with kind of any authority figure, and it's
Mm,
always a partner, and then find out when partner want to take control in their life, they just run away, run away, run away. So this is his childhood, and so there is kind of, I think from his mother's view, no one can be the authority of their life. That is
yeah.
very, very interesting. And even more, when he grew up, I think he has a child. He has a child, and once what his first child, I think when he was still kind of before 20 years old, he already had a child with his girlfriend. He and his mother trying to get this child from his girlfriend, and they have the court case. I was just like, this mother is very interesting because she is kind of, no one can control my life and my children's life, but they are trying to, handling everything in a very interesting way. So there is a rebelling things in his blood. I think that is, you know, pretty
Yeah.
interesting in this from the Sun, Chiron, Uranus square. And yes, I think he could be in one way some people's hero because there's a lot of dark secret he can reveal. And for those anti-authority, or for those what do we say in English word, those kind of people who don't want to establishment, those people who never wanted a
Yeah.
government or something. That is, they would treat him like a hero. But for me, yes, he's kind of quite brave to reveal all the secrets, those secret deal. Fine, great. But also, yes, when people say, but those secret deal put a lot of people, a lot of spy in danger. I agree that is should be concerned too. But you know, I'm just
This
like
is the
this
side
child.
of, yeah, I think, the wisdom of Chiron is one thing, but the vision of Uranus is another one.
Yeah,
And Uranus
yeah.
is
So
cold, it's like for the sake of bettering the world.
mm,
Also with Chiron, there could be about wounding others, perhaps, for the
yeah.
sake of bettering the world, of making it a better place for an ideal.
Yes, I think that is the when when we see the aspect between the Uranus with Chiron, that is something, that's the idea and something revolution, but the revolution can cause huge pain for
Yeah.
somebody too. Yeah. So Alejo, should we use another aspect as a practice
Yes.
for our audience?
So I would say, to practice, try to interpret Chiron conjunct Venus.
Ooh, interesting.
Yes.
So let me give it a little bit of help. So, what are we going to do? I suggest you think about, now we know Chiron is about the wounded, healing and wounded, or something like unique, bit unique, but we also pay the price for that unique. We feel lonely, and we feel difficult to recognize by surrounding, or difficult to blending. That is the price. Now think about the theme of Venus. What if Venus represent money or social
Relationships.
environment, relationship, like I say? And how are you going to feel? Of course, you can easily say, oh, some part get wounded. Maybe just get a little bit more. That's very good beginning, but go more detail and not just one line. I mean, with one line and then you build up. Maybe you can build up a paragraph. But remember, that are all possibility, not take into granted. Say, oh, he must be like this. That's another dangerous thing when we be astrologer. And we say it is possible for him to have this and that situation, but don't just take it for granted like, oh, this is definitely him, or this is definitely going to happen to him. Don't do that. That is very dangerous, especially from the modern astrologer's view. Okay, so well, thank you, Alejo. Today
Thank
we're
you.
talking about aspect of Chiron, and the next week, I think we already lucky. We already finished all the planets. Um, what you end? So
I got
sorry about that.
wounded.
Oh, you got wounded. So we should cut this video short because if we
Yeah.
continue, we probably both going to end up in hospital somewhere in casualty. So thanks everyone. And the next week we'll bring you another set of aspects. We are not finished yet, but we finish all aspects. So next week we're going to talk about that. Alejo,
Aspects to the angles, right?
aspect to the angles. Yay! So we will start with ascendant. Okay. See you guys next week. Bye bye.
Bye bye.